Welcome to Module 4, Video 1 of the Lead Quizzes Facebook Comprehensive Guide. In this video, we're going to be talking about your Facebook campaign numbers, what they mean, and what you should be looking at. Joining us, we have Donnabrae Visor, Lead Quizzes co-founder. Alright, so Donnabrae's put together a list of the most important numbers that we should be looking at and what they mean. The first one on the list, Donnabrae, you have is impressions. So tell us about impressions, why it's important to look at this number, and what it means.
Yeah, so impressions are the total amount of times your ads has been shown to your audience. That is different from reach, which reach is basically the number of individuals who have seen your ads.
So impressions could be like, I've seen an ad twice, so I count as 2 impressions, but my reach is 1.
Yeah, because you're one individual.
Okay, awesome. So next on the list you have cost per 1,000 impressions, or CPM. So what exactly is that, and why is it important for us to be looking at that number?
Yeah, so cost per 1,000 impression is the average cost to show your ads 1,000 times. The reason why you want to be taking a look at that number is because a particular audience that you might be targeting might be a lot more expensive cost per 1,000 impression. So you want to always watch that number to see if you're targeting a really expensive audience. Some audiences, for example, that are really expensive on Facebook is obviously business owners, because they're very high value individuals on Facebook that a lot of advertisers want to reach because they have a lot more money to spend on products and services.
Okay. Now, do we have any control over CPM? Can we lower it anyway or anything like that?
The best way to lower it is just to try to find audiences that are keywords that are a lot cheap. They're going to be a lot cheaper to reach, but most of the time you don't really quite have a control over CPM. That's something that Facebook's algorithm is going to basically determine by itself.
All right, so basically just testing. You had said it's basically supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand based.
Okay, so sometimes your CPM could be higher if maybe it's a holiday, like Father's Day. People advertise a lot on Father's Day. So if you're trying to advertise men during that time, you might have a high CPM versus if you're trying to advertise to them during Mother's Day. Not as many people are trying to reach them. All right. So next number that you gave us is frequency. Now, I know a little bit about frequencies, basically how many times your ad's been shown to a person on average, but tell us a little bit more about that, what we should be looking at number-wise, where we want to be with that.
So frequency is the amount of times your ads has been shown to a particular individual. And when it comes to frequency, you want to try to stay under 4. That's what we found out, and that's the best practice to use, is stay under 4, serving your ads to the same individual 4 times. After that, you may want to refresh your ads, come up with new creatives, write new copy so your ads are still effective. After 4, your ad reach and your interaction with your ads just start to diminish.
Okay, now is that lifetime or over a certain period, over a week?
It's lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next number you have on there, pretty self-explanatory, amount spent. It's important for us to know how much you're spending on our ads. Now you can set the budget for this, but sometimes the amount spent differs from the budget that you set. Can you explain that and why Facebook does that?
Yeah, so sometimes Facebook won't spend all of the budget that you spend because that you've designated to spend, because maybe your ads are not competitive enough, and there's other advertisers that are willing to spend more to reach the same audience that you're trying to target. So Facebook may not even spend any of your budget at all. And we've seen that several times. So you're going to have to up your spend, and you may have to consider doing other bid strategies.
Bid issue, right?
Yeah, it's a bid issue, and you might have to consider doing other bid strategies instead of automatic bidding. You might have to actually do manual bidding, where you actually put in a cost that you're willing to pay to reach that.
Okay, so next number that we have on here is click-through rate links. So tell us about that, and why is it different than just regular click-through rate?
Regular click-through rate is, Facebook tracks regular click-through rate and link click-through rate a little bit differently. Regular click-through rate through Facebook is whenever someone just clicks on your ad. So they can like your page, they can comment, they can do a couple of different actions, or
even just click and not do anything.
Click and not do anything, click to expand, and that right there is something Facebook tracks, but that's not the thing that you're going to be looking to do. When you're running these quiz ads, you want to track link clicks, actual link clicks that are going from Facebook to your landing page to your quiz, whatever that is. Because link clicks are actually people actually seeing what you have to offer on the other end, especially when you're running a quiz ad, actually being able to view your quiz and getting to that landing page.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there a specific number that we should be looking at? Like, should we turn off ads if we're in a certain place, or if we have like a higher number, is that better? How does that work?
You always want to try to aim for as high of a link click-through rate as possible, because that just shows that like you're serving your ads to the right audience and they're engaged with it. And Facebook only is going to prioritize ads that are engaging to their audience. So when you're looking at those numbers, if your link click-through rate is low, you want to always work on improving them, because it's only going to drive more traffic to your quizzes.
Okay. Now, for click-through rate, as Donna Bray had said, it can depend on the industry that you're in. So say you're in like cosmetics and you're up against, Maybelline, or up against Neutrogena. These are people that have huge advertising dollars, and a lot of people are going towards one audience. So you might have a lower click-through rate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just in that industry. Versus if you're going towards something a little bit more niche, you might have a higher click-through rate. That's something that you'll just find through testing. All right, so link clicks, this relates back to click-through rate links, and this is different than regular clicks, right?
Yes, this is different from regular clicks. Like we talked about earlier, regular clicks can be anything. They can just like your ad and not really click through, but link clicks are people who actually, clicked to your landing page. Number of people that clicked your ad and went directly to your landing page or opt-in page or your quiz campaign. And those are like link clicks are the things that you want to be tracking, not regular clicks.
Which leads us into our next number that you should be looking at, which is CPC link. So cost per click link, different than cost per click, because cost per click can be somebody just interacting with your ad, not necessarily clicking through. So this is what we'd be tracking in terms of like leads, or just in terms of getting people over to our start page?
This is what you should be tracking in terms of getting people over to your start page for your quiz campaigns. You want to try to lower that cost as much as possible, how much it costs you to get that link click to your landing page. The lower the cost that you can achieve, the more traffic you're going to be able to drive to your landing page. If it costs a lot of money to get links to your page, like it's just going to be...
You're just going to have a higher cost per lead.
Yeah, you're just going to end up having a higher cost per lead, because, you're getting very few clicks. And it just means that also indicates that, your audience might be a little bit expensive, but most likely what it means is that your ad is not very engaging and people are not finding a reason to click over to the next to the opt-in page or landing page.
Okay. Now the next one leads into what I just mentioned earlier, leads. So now this will only show up if we are optimizing for that, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so you need to make sure that when you set up your ads, you're optimizing for a lead, and then that's when this lead information will come up. And by optimizing for lead, you first have to create that custom conversion, which we went over in a previous video. If you guys missed it, make sure you go back, check out module 2, where we have that about creating a custom conversion. So leads, number of people who end up actually converting through your quiz.
Yeah.
All right. So next number, cost per lead. Like we said, different than cost per click. Obviously, the lower the number you have for cost per click, then your better cost per lead is going to be.
Yeah, that really depends also. You can have a cheap cost per link click, but you might be targeting the wrong audience, and that audience might be clicking over, or they might be expecting something on the other end that doesn't quite resonate with what your ad was initially saying. So you might have a cheap cost per link click, but then your cost per lead might be extremely expensive because your ad and your quiz don't match up to each other, and the expectations aren't set from the beginning.
So if your cost per lead's like significantly higher than your cost per click, maybe like 100 times higher or something, it's kind of outrageous. But if that's what it is, it could be you need to optimize your quiz, you need to change your quiz, you need to set the expectations correctly.
Yeah, you need to optimize your quiz, or you might have to redo your targeting to make sure you're getting in front of the right people. So you always want to make sure your ad sets the expectation as to what they're going to see on the other end. So your cost per lead is as low as possible, or you can acquire leads for as cheap as possible on Facebook.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Donberry. Guys, there you have it. These are the numbers you need to be looking at with your Facebook campaigns. Make sure you watch this video and rewatch it, because these numbers are going to be very important in improving your Facebook campaigns and making sure you know what's going on. In the next video, we're going to walk you through split testing. So what you should be testing in your ad campaign, and also split testing within the Quiz software. And I'll see you guys in video 2.